Assalamu alaikum students, welcome back to another video. Today we will be solving Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 2 Variant 22 of February-March 2022. Also a quick reminder that all the revenue generated from these videos will be sent to the aid of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. So please support us. Question 1. A student investigates a pendulum. He measures the time for the pendulum to complete 20 oscillations. He repeats the experiment 3 more times. The readings are shown. What is the average period of the pendulum? So the average period we can find out by calculating by taking the average time, by adding all the average time and then dividing it by the total oscillations, which is 80, because we did the experiment 4 times and each time we did it for 20 oscillations. So upon 80, and then you need to add all the time taken for the 4 experiments. So you will get 73.6 over 80, and when you solve this you will get your answer as 0.92 seconds. Question 2. A tennis ball falls from the upstairs window of a house. What can be said about the acceleration of the ball if A resistance is ignored? It depends on the density of the ball. Well, this is incorrect. Acceleration has nothing to do with density. It depends on the mass of the ball. This is also incorrect because we are ignoring air resistance. It would have depended on the mass of the ball if air resistance was not ignored. But since air resistance is ignored, so mass also does not have any effect. It increases as the ball falls. This is also incorrect because acceleration due to gravity is constant. It stays the same as the ball falls. This is correct. Question 3. A car joins a road at a speed of 14 meters per second and accelerates at 4 meters per second square for 5 seconds. What is the final speed of the car? Okay, so they have given us the acceleration, so we can use the formula for acceleration, which is A is equals to final speed minus initial speed over time taken. So they have given us the acceleration, which is 4. We need to calculate the final speed V. Initial speed we know is 14 and time taken was 5 seconds. So when you solve this, you will get V as 34 meters per second. Question 4. The gravitational field strength is 8.8 newtons per kg on Venus and 3.8 newtons per kg on Mars. An object has a weight of 42 newtons on Venus. What are the mass and weight of the object on Mars? So mass will obviously stay the same irrespective of the planet, so we can calculate the mass using the information given using the formula W is equals to mg. We know the weight is 42 newtons on Venus. The gravitational field strength is 8.8, so we can calculate the mass. Plug this in your calculator. So mass comes out to be 4.8 kg. So it will be either A or B. Then we can also calculate the weight on Mars using the same formula. For weight is equals to mg. So 4.8 times the gravitational field strength on Mars, which is 3.8. So this comes out to be 18. So A is your correct answer. Question 5. A student carries out an experiment to find the density of a rock. Which 2 measurements does the student need to make to determine the density of the rock? So we know the formula for density is equals to mass over volume. So we need to calculate mass and volume. So here the correct option would be A, since we need to calculate the increase in mass and the increase in volume. Question 6. A car has a mass of 1500 kilograms. A constant resultant force acts on the car and the car accelerates from 15 meters per second to 20 meters per second in 4 seconds. What is the magnitude of the resultant force acting on the car? Magnitude of the resultant force. So we know the formula for resultant force is F is equal to ma. So mass we have 1500 kilograms. Acceleration we can find out with this information given, 20 minus 15 upon 4. So when you calculate this, your answer will come out to be 1875 newtons, which is 1900 newtons. Question 7. A metal wire is loaded up to the limit of proportionality. Which statement is correct? Hooke's law is not obeyed when the load is increased from 0 to this point. This is incorrect because up to the limit of proportionality, Hooke's law will be followed. It will only not be followed when it goes beyond the limit of proportionality. So A is incorrect. When the load is increased beyond the limit of proportionality, the diameter of the wire will increase. When this is incorrect, the diameter is not affected when the load is increased by the limit of proportionality. When the load is removed, the wire returns to its original length. So this is correct because the metal wire is loaded up to the limit of proportionality. It does not exceed it. If it exceeded the limit of proportionality, only then the wire would not return to its original length and the wire would have been deformed. But since it is only loaded up to the limit of proportionality, when the load will be removed, the wire will return to its original length. Question 8. The diagram shows a uniform Newton rule Mn pivoted at its midpoint P. Two weights W1 and W2 are hung either side of the pivot. The rule remains balanced. Which row is correct? So since they have told us that the rule remains balanced, that means that it is in equilibrium, and the condition for equilibrium is that resultant moment and resultant force should be 0. So D is your correct option. Question 9. Which physical quantity is a vector? So let's look at the options. Mass we know is scalar. Density is also scalar since they do not have any direction. Temperature is also a scalar quantity. Only velocity is a vector quantity since it has a magnitude and also a direction. Question 10. A resultant force of 500 Newton acts for 10 seconds on a car of mass 1000 kilograms. This causes the velocity of the car to double. What is the final velocity of the car? Okay, first we can calculate the initial velocity. So we are given we can use F is equals to ma for that. The resultant force we know is 500. Mass we know is 1000. So we can calculate the acceleration, which comes out to be 0.5. So using that 0.5, so we get, since the final velocity is double as they've told us, so we can take this as V over 10. So this will be the initial velocity. So you can call this U. So we will get U as 5 meters per second. But they have told us that the velocity of the car doubles. So the final velocity will come out to be 10, which is B. Question 11. A child pushes a toy car along a horizontal surface and then releases it. As the car slows down, what is the main energy transfer? So a car is moved. Let's suppose this is the car. It moves along a horizontal surface. As it slows down, what is the main energy transfer? So when the car has some speed, it has kinetic energy, and when it slows down, it slows down due to friction. So kinetic energy turns into thermal energy. So the correct option is B, from kinetic to thermal. At time t is equals to 0, a cannonball is stationary inside the cannon. The cannonball is then fired from the cannon. At time t1, the cannonball moves forwards and the cannon moves backwards. What happens to the total kinetic energy and the total momentum of the cannon and the cannonball between time 0 and time t? So at time 0, since the ball is stationary, the cannonball, the kinetic energy will be 0, but at time t, the cannonball moves forwards with a certain speed. So obviously there will be a change in the total kinetic energy of the cannon and the cannonball. So the correct option will either be A and B. Now let's look at the momentum. We know that momentum is always conserved. So momentum will always remain the same. The total momentum will always remain the same. So 12B is your answer. Question 13. In a small hydroelectric power scheme, 800 kilograms of water drops through a vertical height of 2.2 meters every second. The electrical output is 10.6 kilowatt. What is the efficiency of the scheme? So we know the formula for efficiency is useful output over useful input times 100. So they have given us the output, so we'll have to calculate the input. We can use mgh for that because the water is falling from a vertical height. So I'll write it over here. mgh, mass we know is 800, gravitational field strength we take as 9.8, height we know is 2.2. So when you calculate this, it gives us 17.25 kilowatts. So 10.6 over 17.25 times 100. When you calculate this, your answer will come out to be 60%. Question 14. An object is at rest on a horizontal surface. Which equation is used to calculate the pressure that the object exerts? So we know the formula for pressure is force over area, and since we're talking about an object, the force exerted by the object will be its weight. So when you go through the options, you will see that option B is correct. Weight of the object, which is the force, and area of contact. Question 15. Smoke particles illuminated by a bright lamp are seen through a microscope. They move about randomly. What causes this motion? Attraction between the smoke particle and the molecule of the air. This is incorrect because there is no attraction between the particles. Collisions between the smoke particles and the molecule of the air. This is correct, since we know that gas molecules, they interact with each other by colliding against each other. 16. Ether is a liquid that evaporates easily at room temperature. The rate at which ether evaporates can be increased by bubbling air through it. The diagram shows this process. Students give 3 suggestions why the rate of evaporation increases when air is bubbled through. Student 1 suggests that the temperature of the ether is decreased. This is obviously incorrect because evaporation increases when temperature is increased, not decreased. Student 2 suggests that the surface area of the ether is increased. So we know that increasing the surface area does in fact increase the evaporation. Student 3 suggests that evaporated molecules are removed at a greater rate. So this is also correct because we know that the evaporated molecules have high energy, so they are removed at a greater rate. So C is correct. 17. Some ice is slowly heated and its temperature is measured. A graph is plotted of temperature against time. Which row describes what happens to the thermal energy and the temperature in section X? So we can see that during X there is no change in temperature. So the answer would either be B or C or D. Thermal energy during this section X, the thermal energy is gained by ice, because during this process there is no change in temperature and the ice is constantly gaining thermal energy. So, and when it has gained enough thermal energy to break the bonds, chemical bonds, there is a change in temperature as well. So during X, thermal energy is gained by the ice. So B is correct. 18. The diagram shows the apparatus needed for an experiment to determine the specific heat capacity of the material from which an object is made. Which piece of apparatus could be omitted if the purpose of the experiment is to determine the thermal capacity of the object? Okay, so thermal capacity is the amount of energy needed to bring about a change of 1 degree Celsius. So for that you will need an ammeter to calculate the power and the energy. You don't need a balance, since you only need to bring about a 1 Celsius change, and the balance, we don't need to calculate the mass of anything, so you don't need the balance. You will need a stop clock and also obviously a thermometer, since you are measuring the change in temperature. So B is correct. Question 19. Both boiling and evaporation involve a change of state from liquid to gas. Which row gives the correct difference between boiling and evaporation? No bubbles are formed. Bubbles are formed. This is incorrect, because in evaporation no bubbles are formed. Occurs at all temperatures, occurs at a definite temperature. This is the opposite. Evaporation occurs at all temperatures and boiling occurs at a definite temperature. This is also incorrect. Occurs throughout the liquid, occurs at the surface only. Well, this is correct, since we know that boiling occurs throughout the liquid and evaporation occurs at the surface only, because only the particles with the highest energy, they escape the liquid. So it occurs only on the surface. 20. Which statement describes thermal conduction in a metal by electrons? An atom and electrons move freely throughout the metal. This is incorrect, because atoms are fixed, so they cannot move freely. Atoms and electrons vibrate about their fixed positions only. This is also incorrect, because only atoms are fixed and electrons can move freely. Electrons move freely throughout the metal. This is correct. 21. A tank contains water. Ripples are produced on the surface of the water. Refraction is observed. What causes the ripples to refract? So we know that refraction is affected by a change of speed. Refraction is caused by primarily a change of speed. So when you go through the options, you will see that B is correct, which states that the ripples change speed as they move from deep to shallow water. 22. The diagram shows wavefronts of a water wave passing through a gap in a barrier. Which change will increase the diffraction of the wave as it passes through the gap? So we know that diffraction is affected by an increase in amplitude. An increase in amplitude will result in an increase in diffraction. Sorry, not amplitude, an increase in wavelength. An increase in wavelength will result in an increase in the diffraction. So how can you increase the wavelength? When you reduce the frequency. Since we know the formula V is equals to F lambda, so you can see from this formula that V is inversely proportional to lambda. So when you reduce the frequency, the wavelength will be increased and there will be an increase in diffraction. 23. The diagrams each show a ray of light from an object O passing through a thin converging lens. The principal focuses in each diagrams are labeled. Which diagrams are correct? So we can see that 1 is correct because it passes through the center. 2 is incorrect because it should pass through the focal point, but it does not, so 2 is incorrect. 3 is also correct because it travels parallel to the principal axis, so 1 and 3 are correct, so C is your answer. 24. The diagram shows a ray of light inside an optical fiber approaching point X. The light is totally reflected within the fiber. The refractive index of the material of the optical fiber is 1.39. Which condition ensures that total internal reflection occurs? So you need to recall, when does total internal reflection occur? It occurs when the incident angle is greater than the critical angle. So we'll have to calculate the critical angle first. We know the formula is refractive index is equals to 1 over sine C. Refractive index we are given 1.39. Sine C we have to calculate. So we will bring sine C to this side. 1 over 1.39. So just plug this in your calculator, sine inverse of 1 over 1.39, and you will get 46 degrees. So the critical angle must be greater than, the incidence angle must be greater than the critical angle. I should be greater than C. When we just calculated, C is 46, so it should be greater than 46. So which angle is the incidence angle? Q. Q should be greater than 46. So when you go through the options, you will see that B is correct. 25. An eclipse of the sun happens when the moon comes between the earth and the sun. So if this is the earth, an eclipse occurs when the moon comes in front of the sun and earth. Which statement is correct? Infrared radiation from the sun dissipates before visible light and ultraviolet radiation. Well, this is incorrect, since all of these waves come at the same time, they will disappear at the same time as well. So when you go through all those options, you can see that option D is correct, because it says that infrared radiation, ultraviolet radiation and visible light from the sun all disappear at the same moment. So obviously, since they have the same source, which is the sun, and they travel at the same speed, so when the moon comes in between, they will all disappear at the same time. So D is correct. 26. The diagram shows air particles in a sound wave. Which row correctly identifies the position of a compression and the position of a rarefaction? So we know compression is when the particles are closer together, and rarefaction is when the particles are further apart. So we can see that rarefaction is at Y and compression is at X. So A is correct. 27. Two isolated metal spheres are both negatively charged. The spheres are brought close together but do not touch. Which diagram shows the charge distribution on the spheres? Well, A obviously is incorrect because the negative charges will repel each other. B is also incorrect because the negative charge should be at the opposite sides, since they will repel each other. And due to the same reason, C is also incorrect. D is correct because we can see that the negative charges have repelled each other and they are at the opposite sides. 28. Two separate circuits have different power supplies. Both power supplies provide the same magnitude current. Current is the same. Power supply P has an electromotive force of 1.5 volts and power supply Q has an EMF of 3 volts. Which statements about Q are correct when compared with P? Q supplies twice the charge per unit time. Well, this is incorrect because they have told us that this current is the same. If the current is the same, the charge will also be the same. So 1 is incorrect. Q supplies twice the energy per unit charge. This is correct because we know that the formula for EMF is work done over charge Q. So since the EMF of Q is double, it will provide double the energy. So 2 is correct. Q supplies twice the energy per unit time. This is also correct. We know the formula is P is equals to VI, and P is energy over time. E over T is equals to VI. So since V has twice the EMF of P, it will also supply twice the energy per unit time. So the correct option is D. The diagram shows a piece of metal resistance wire. Which wire made of the same metal has a smaller resistance? So the formula of resistance is resistivity times length over area. So when will a wire made of the same metal have a smaller resistance? When the area is greater. Since area and resistance are inversely proportional, so when the area is greater, the resistance will decrease. So a wire of the same length with a larger diameter, which means a larger area, will have a smaller resistance. So A is correct. Which labeled component in the circuit shown controls the brightness of lamp X? So we can see that B, this is the variable resistor and it is connected in series with lamp X. So when you vary the resistance of this, it will directly affect the voltage that is being provided to X. So it will directly affect the brightness of lamp X. So B is your correct answer. A circuit includes a battery, 2 identical resistors and 5 ammeters. P, Q, R, S and T. Which statement about the readings on the ammeter is not correct? P has a greater reading than Q. Well, we know this is incorrect because P and Q are connected in series, and we know that components which are connected in series will always have the same current. So A is incorrect. An electrician sets up a potential divider circuit in a fridge so that when the fridge door is open and light from the room enters the fridge, a warning light turns on. Which component does the electrician need to use in addition to a variable resistor? So we need a component that is affected by light, because when light from the room enters the fridge, a warning light must turn on. So we can see that a light dependent resistor will be suitable for this case. Question 33. 2 NAND gates are joined together as shown. Which single logic gate is equivalent to this combination? So here we will need to go through all the options and see which option is correct. So let's suppose the input here is 1 1. So the output here would be 0, and because this is a NAND gate, it will reverse and give you output as 1. So with input as 1 and 1, the output you are getting as 1. So this is the behavior of which logic gate? This is the same for AND, because AND gate has this behavior that when 2 inputs have 1, the output will also be 1. So A is your correct answer. 34. The diagram shows an electric drill and safety guard. The drill requires the logic circuit shown. The circuit must only allow the motor to start when the safety guard is closed. If the safety guard is not closed when the starting switch is on, the alarm must sound. So they say that if the safety guard is not closed, which means that if the safety guard is has 0, when the starting switch is on, when the starting switch is 1, the alarm must sound. The output must be 1. So which logic gate is missing from this circuit? So here we will get 1, 0. Sorry, here we will get 1, 1, because this will reverse the signal. So when will we have an output of 1? When the input is 1, 1, it will be for an AND gate. Two magnets are placed near a current carrying coil. The diagram shows this experimental arrangement and the current direction in the coil. Which statement is correct? Both X and Y are attracted to the coil. We know this is not true. Both X and Y are repelled by the coil. So this is correct because of Lenz's law. When we bring a south pole closer to the magnet, a south pole will be induced here due to Lenz's law, so they will repel. Similarly, when we bring closer a north pole will be induced here due to Lenz's law and it will repel. So both X and Y are repelled by the coil. 36. Two circuits are set up as shown. The iron rods are placed close together and are able to move. What happens to the size of the gap at X when switch S is closed? So when S is closed, this also becomes a current carrying conductor, and we know due to Lenz's law they will repel each other, so the gap between them will increase. 37. When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Which statement about this force is correct? So here you will have to recall Fleming's left hand rule, and I would urge you to use your left hand and to place your left hand according to Fleming's left hand rule. So you will see that all three of them are perpendicular to each other. So the question asks us which statement about this force is correct. So we know that the force is perpendicular to both the magnetic field and the direction of the current. 38. When a beam of alpha particles is incident on a thin metal foil, most of them follow a path represented by path X in the diagram. A small number of alpha particles follow a path represented by path Y in the diagram. Which row correctly describes a conclusion that can be drawn from each of these observations about the structure of the atom? So why do most alpha particles follow path X? So we know that this is because most of the atom is empty space. So it is either A or B. Some follow path Y. This is because atom contains something that repels alpha particles, which is correct. Because atom contains electrons which repel the alpha particles. So A is your correct answer. Nuclear fusion is a reaction that takes place in stars. Which row describes this reaction? So we know nuclear fusion is the combining of two nucleus. So atomic nuclei join together to form a larger nucleus. This is correct. And we know that whenever fusion or fission takes place, energy is always released. So D is your correct answer. 40. When a radioactive isotope is set up close to a count rate of 38,000 counts per second is obtained. The table shows the count rate from the isotope over a 3-year period. What is the half-life of the isotope? So after one half-life, the count rate should be 19,000 because the initial rate was 38,000. And when do we see 19,000? 19,000 comes between 1 and 2 years. So the correct option would be more than 1 year but less than 2 years. So B is your correct answer. So that brings us to the end of our paper. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more, and I will see you in a later video.